Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody doing? Welcome back. So glad everyone is here. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Ansat. Good morning, ITT department. Good morning to everyone out there on the patio. Good morning to the replay crew. I am the Queen, and this is Queen of O'Hara. So glad to have everybody. So glad. So glad to have you all. I want to say thank you I have some new subscribers. I am so happy to have you all. I think I have finally made it past 200. Doesn't seem like a huge accomplishment for, a lot of the bigger channels, but it is to me, okay? It is because everybody started out from somewhere. And so I like to celebrate all the accomplishments. So yay to 200. Okay. Yay to 200. So, how is everybody doing this morning? Everybody wake up on, not good afternoon yet. Everybody wake up on the right side of the bed and get their coffee and take their medicine and stretch and do all the things. Yeah. I know Sarah's hard at work this morning. And so I was flipping through the news, so you don't have to. Well, first of all, I would like to say, of course, everything you hear here is my opinion. And please go do your own research because goodness knows I don't remember everything and I'm not reliable. Um, and everything expressed here is my opinion. Everything that is said in the chat is their opinion. We are all responsible for our own words and actions because we are all adults and hopefully we are going to act as such. But I was flipping through the news this morning, or scrolling through the news, I should say, and I seen a couple of different news stories that had to do with the heat. And we have jokingly been talking about the heat, and one of my favorite subscribers that has become a friend, we jokingly talk about her being out in the heat and working. Um, but the heat is no joke. The heat is no joke, and it takes lives. It really does. And every year, on the news, we hear about people, um, passing away because of the heat. And so just from quickly scrolling through the news, I seen 3 different news stories involving the heat. And so, I don't, I don't necessarily like to focus on negative things here. I just like for us to be aware of what's going on in the world and discuss it. That's what we like to do here. We like to talk about, real life issues that's going on with each other and what's going out in the world and how it affects us all and stuff. And so, no matter how much we, see public service announcements and campaigns and stuff, it still is an issue with people leaving their children in cars. And, this is an issue. Gosh, I mean, I didn't look up the statistics, um, but it's every year. It is every year, y'all. And just looking up, like I said, just scrolling through this morning, there was 2 different articles. As most of you know, I am from Tennessee and currently live in Alabama, and I go back and forth. There was a article out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, where I believe it was a 4 or 5-week-old baby was left in an SUV in a Kroger parking lot. The mom had went inside. The infant had been in the SUV for approximately 20 minutes when someone seen it, called the cops, the fire department. The baby was in the car seat under blankets. When the mom came back out, she was swaying. She was noticeably impaired. They found a half bottle of tequila in the car. Good morning, MTT. We are talking about this heat, girl. We are talking about the heat. So, yeah. So the mother was charged. The baby, luckily, is okay now. They were able to get the baby out of the SUV, put it in an air conditioner car, and I mean the baby was barely breathing, but they were able to get it just in time. Another story that I found did not have an happy ending like that. It was out of I believe Houston, Texas. The family was planning a birthday party for another sibling. They parked in the cul-de-sac. Everyone got out of the car. The young child usually gets himself out of the car seat. Believe the toddler was 3 or so. They were in a rental car. For whatever reason, he did not get out of the car. They didn't notice for a couple of hours. When the mom noticed that the kid wasn't around, she went out there. He was still in the car seat, still in his car seat. He was not as lucky as the baby. He had already passed. So I know MTT says a baby just died in Canada from being left in a car. Mom was a teacher, taught the day, went back and forth and found him. Yeah. So, like in the first story I said, the woman was impaired. The second one, the mom wasn't impaired. She was planning a birthday party for, another sibling. Everyone got out of the car. They assumed the toddler had gotten out of the car because he usually undoes the seatbelt himself. Everybody's running around. Not all of these cases are malicious, but every summer, we hear about them on the news. Every year. And we see different things, different PSAs. Oh, leave your phone, leave something important in the back seat so you don't forget the baby. And I see people just outraged, like, how could you forget the baby? And I'll just be completely honest with you. 9 times out of 10, I think my kids are around when they're not. honest to God, like, you know, we co-parent, um, the little one more so than the older one. Um, and so when we do the switch off, I'll forget and I'll think he's still around. I'll be whispering to my husband because I'll think he's around and, he'll be gone. Or I'll be driving and I'll think they're in the car with me or, that he's in the car with me and, he's not. Um, but it for real can happen. I watched I wish I could remember the name of that documentary. I watched a documentary last year about several parents that this had happened to. Oh, I can't even remember what streaming service it was on. It was a very sad documentary, but it followed several parents, and some of the parents or people, because they weren't all parents, one was a boyfriend, some of them had been charged for neglect, manslaughter, different, different charges for leaving the child in the car. Some of them hadn't. Some of them were not charged. Um, that documentary really put things in perspective for you. One of the, if I'm remembering correctly, but there was one family that stood out to me in particular, and it was the case where the gentleman thought that he had taken the child to daycare, and he didn't, and he went to work, and then the mom went to go pick up the child at daycare, and they said that he didn't come today, and she called the dad. And the dad was at work and he runs out to his car. The kid's still in there. Everybody can make a mistake, but unfortunately, this is one of those mistakes that cannot be undone, right? And these parents have to live with that for the rest of their life. Ansat says, unbelievable. The parents are so distracted and forget about the children in the car. It is. It is unbelievable. It is unbelievable, but yet it happens every year. And I mean, it could just as easily happen to us. I mean, I find it the woman who left the baby in the Kroger parking lot, definitely unacceptable. She was intoxicated. Everyone knows you don't leave a child in a car unattended. The one that left the toddler and all the kids got out and he didn't get out, and you hear that happening a lot at daycares, schools and stuff. Oh, the everyone got out of the bus, but that child didn't get out. And but my whole thing is like, for me, if I don't see my kid, and I know this isn't the case with all kids, but especially mine because he has ADHD. And so I need to know what he is doing every second or at least every other second because it could possibly be something concerning or making a mess. Um, but I don't care how busy you are, but how do you not know what your 3-year-old is doing for a couple of hours unless you think someone else is watching him? But, I don't know if you have, like, a lot of kids and maybe you just assume that they're all playing together. We never know what is going on in someone else's home or what their arrangement is, and I'm not trying to be judgmental on that family because they have to live with that loss for the rest of their life, but, yeah, I just every time I read an article, I'm just like, "Oh my goodness, I it's so hard to believe that that is still happening all these years later with all the technology that we have and, how we have advanced in so many things, but yet we're babies and children are still dying in hot cars." And we've come so far as a society in some ways, but yet in other ways, not so much. Not so much. The other heat disasters that I read, and I'm sure most of you have heard this about this if you listen to the news. And like I said, I generally don't watch the news anymore. I have like started scanning through the news so I can find things for us to discuss on here, but I stopped watching the news on a regular basis because it was just causing me so much anxiety. Um, but I'm sure most of you have seen about in San Antonio the migrant truck deaths, 51 people. How many of you seen that? You know, we talk about human trafficking, and I think, you know, well, I mean, you tell me when you hear human trafficking, what comes to your mind? Child porn, prostitutes. Do you think about immigrants? When you hear about human trafficking, do you think about people trying to come into our country? Do those things go hand in hand for you? I mean, I'm just, you know, because for me personally, when I hear human trafficking, I don't necessarily equate that to people trying to get into our country. Sorry, mom. Um, but yeah, I mean that's human trafficking too. Even though those people are trying to get into our country, someone is moving humans, right? They're trafficking them into our country. It's so sad to me that these people are paying someone else to put them in the back of a truck trailer in the dark, in the heat, and trusting them to get to safety. So, how bad do you think the conditions are in their country that they're willing to leave everything they know, everything that they may know own, no matter how, you know, little it may be, to come to a country where they know no one, they own nothing, they don't speak the language most times? How horrible the situation must be that they're willing to sacrifice their life by getting into the back of a truck trailer in 100-degree weather with no air conditioning to get to America. Well, these people got to America. They died in America. Yeah. On a Texas road called the Mouth of the Wolf, a semi truck packed with migrants was abandoned in the sweltering heat. Yeah. Have y'all all heard about this? I know MTT watches the news. By Tuesday, 51 people had died in what one Homeland Security investigator agent called the deadliest human smuggling incident in U.S. history. This is nothing short of a horrific human tragedy, said San Antonio Mayor Ron Uhrenberg. Y'all know I'm horrible with pronouncing the names, pronouncing anything, but on this barren stretch of scrubland adjacent to a railroad tracks, the perilous journey north for dozens of undocumented migrants, many of them Mexican, ended in the back of a scorching tractor trailer nearly 150 miles north of the U.S. border with Mexico. Sarah Z says, I tend to avoid the news as well, but did see a notice pop up about this awful. Yeah. Yeah. I seen it briefly the other day. Yeah. And, we've seen things previously about this, but never to this extent, never this many people. It's horrendous. It's horrendous. That people are willing to go through these lengths to get into our country. Yes, it's awful the price some people pay for freedom. It is. It really is. And we have 4th of July weekend coming up, and do not take your freedom for granted, people. Do not. And I will tell you, I have taken my freedom for granted and being an American for granted and all the things I never realized for so long what it really means, how lucky we are to live in America and how lucky we are. Even if you don't agree with America's stand on things, how lucky we are that there's people that choose to serve our country. Because I'll give you I'll give you a little inside information. Not everyone that chooses to go into the military agrees with what's happening politically. They don't. But they chose to serve our country and to stand up for our freedom. I had never thought about that before. They don't necessarily agree with what the government is choosing, but they agreed to to fight for our country. Yes. Yes, exactly, exactly, Sarah C. Exactly. And we have so much to be grateful for. So much. And all this other stuff is so, so petty. So petty. And that's why it's fun to watch sometimes about like, oh, I'm going to sue you and I'm going to sue you and stuff. But sometimes it just makes me so sick to my stomach because I'm like, have these people never been through like real court battles? And I do not wish a real court battle on anyone because it is horrible. It is horrible. Going through a divorce is horrible, a custody battle, all the things. Any kind of dispute, court issue is horrible. And these people that are just constantly, um, it's just I am I don't wish court on anyone. I mean, sometimes court is absolutely needed, but there are like real life issues. And it just makes me think that they must not have things going on in their real life that are important to them if they want to just focus on these petty things. But but yeah, we have so much to be thankful for. If you woke up this morning, you got something to be thankful for. If you have a roof over your head, you have something to be thankful for. And if you are sitting somewhere where it is not blazing hot, you definitely have something to be thankful for today. Um, it says in this article that in the past, smuggling organizations were mom and pop. Now they are organized and tied in with the cartels. So you have a criminal organization who has no regard for the safety of the migrants. They are treated like commodities rather than people. So, and these people are paying a lot of money to try to get over here to these, like to these people that don't care about their safety, don't care if they're just a commodity. They don't care if, what happens to them. Yeah. Yeah, the cartel. They're just shipping them like drugs. Just we're shipping people and drugs, people and drugs. So, oh, it's really sad. But if you are out in the heat, it's no joke. It's no joke. So, you have to start preparing. First of all, who likes my lovely Canva background that the ITT department made for me last night? Can we get a hand for our beach scene? And who wants to be the person on the float out here? Who do we think gets the honor of being the person out here in the ocean on the float? I told the ITT department if he wasn't good, we were going to put him out here on the floaty in the ocean. So, I would like to thank Jules. You're on the float, Queen. Well, thank you. Thank you. I would like to be on a float in the ocean, but not too far because it scares me if I'm too far out. I don't trust the ocean. Well, I don't trust any body of water because there's things floating around in it. I don't know. I don't like when the kids want to swim in the lake. We live close to like one of the biggest lakes um, in America, and the prince like begs and begs to swim in the lake, and I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I love to look at the water. I don't want to get in the water in the no, I just there's that is their area. I feel like I am intruding on the little critters, the fishes and all that. That's their area. I just want to observe. I know when my oldest son was like, I don't know, maybe 4, friends of ours invited us to the lake. They have like the beach areas and stuff. And so we went, and me and him were standing, like about up to our knees, and we're standing there, and all these fish come swarming around our legs, and we're like standing there looking down, and me and my son just kind of like look over at each other, and we're like, yeah, we're done. We're good. We're gonna go sit in the sand now. So but I love to sit by the water. I love to sit by the water. I love to sit on the dock. Love a patio. Love a love to sit under an umbrella. Very fair skin. So, but you have to prepare for the heat before you go out in it. Got to put your sunscreen on while you're still in the house. Got to start hydrating before you get out in the heat. They say if you do have to work outdoors, take a 10-minute break to get cool for every hour that you're out there, and so we worry all the time about Angela being out there in that heat, which I guess she's out there this morning because I don't see her in here. But you don't realize that you're getting overheated until it's too late, pretty much, until you start showing the signs of heat exhaustion. And so the difference in heat exhaustion and heat stroke, so if you're still sweating, you're doing good. You're doing good because your body is still producing perspiration. And if you stop sweating, you're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. Um, so that is one of the telltale signs that you have went from you've went into the red. So yeah, so you just got to make sure that you're putting on your sunscreen before you go outdoors, that you're hydrating. You start hydrating early. And when I say hydrating, I mean water. I know. I know. I'm horrible about drinking the water. I'm not talking about the Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid y'all be around here drinking. Not you, Sarah Z. I know you don't drink the Kool-Aid. But yeah. And I think a lot of times too, like we're really good about putting sunscreen on the kids, but then we forget to put it on ourselves. Or reapply it after, we get in the water, but you almost have to reapply it every hour because you sweat it off. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. The ITTT department will appreciate that. So, I'm trying, I know people get tired of seeing the talking bubble, the index card, as my other girlfriend calls it. She says, "I wish everybody would take down their index card." Um, but yeah, you gotta put the sunscreen on before you go outside, and then you gotta keep reapplying it. And you gotta start drinking the water before you go out in the heat, and then keep drinking it. And if you are drinking all of the other things, you gotta drink the water too. So I'm horrible at drinking the water. Oh, I know, but it is just, you know, it comes with all the other things too. See, is that good? But then you get to see all the background. This is the office space. So that's over there is actually my desk. I get the little desk. This is the ITT's desk. I sit over here when I'm doing my production. Y'all, my hair is like a hot mess. Um, but yeah, and I sit over there by the window and the well, thank you. I have videos where I show my face, where I'm sitting downstairs in the sunroom. So I mean, I haven't always been an index card, but and I do have clothes on. I may not have a bra on, but I do have clothes on. But yeah, you've definitely and I have this headset on because it's the better microphone. Um, but yeah, the ITT gets this very nice, huge desk, and I get the janky desk over there by the window. Yeah, that chair is actually borrowed from the prince while he's gone. I swap out my desk chair for his, although I do have a brand new desk chair that my hair that my hair's a hot mess too. I like seeing people. Okay, well, I like seeing people too. I do like seeing people. And my girlfriend, I'll give her that. Every time she goes on IG or whatever, she always shows her face, no matter what, if she just got out of the shower or if she's been in the garden all day, she always shows her face. So, and we give a lot of, oh, my camera's slipping. I was like, what's going on? She always shows her face. So, and Miss Terry says, people are more successful that show their face. Oh, y'all can see my my snacks. So so my goal this week is to hang a picture on that wall over there where the dartboard is. I'm gonna take the dartboard down, obviously, and I have um a big picture, and I'm horrible at hanging things on the wall. Yes, how did you know? How did you know, Sarah? Do you follow her on IG? She always shows her face. She does. She doesn't care. She's like, she wants other people to show their face too. So, but yeah. She's like, show your face. So I do want to do a live stream at night and have other people come up. I'm just afraid that no one will come up and join panel with me. And then I'll just be talking to myself and not have anything to talk about. So I did have some people message me yesterday to see if I found, because yesterday was Tuesday. You know, Tuesday means penny shopping. Oh, do we? Why do you say that, Sarah? Well, I'm going to give you some insider information. Um, well, you tell me why you think we sound alike, Sarah, and then I'll tell you some insider information. But I had a couple of people message me yesterday and ask me if I found any pennies, because if you've watched my previous videos, you know Tuesday is penny shopping at the Dollar General, and I didn't go out yesterday looking for penny deals. Um, because the penny list was kind of short. And for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, please see previous videos. I have a couple of short videos that explains what I'm talking about. On Tuesdays, the Dollar General has items for a penny. Oh, yes. Well, because we're both from Nashville. But fun fact, uh, me and Lily know each other in real life. So we are friends in real life. So we know each other outside of YouTube. So I actually was with her this weekend. That's who I was staying with. And I got to see her beautiful garden in person. And she gave me some uh, plants, some seedlings, and some, starter plants, cuts from her plants that she had going. So it was very exciting. But yeah, I've known her. It's funny calling her Lily, but I have known her for almost 20 years now. And so I love her to death. She's like a sister, and we don't agree on everything, and sometimes we fight, but I care about her a lot. I love her. Well, thank you. Yeah, I do. So we try to keep the internet stuff separate because we don't necessarily always agree agree with each other's stance on the she's one of my good friends. So, oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I like live streaming from the sunroom better because I think it's prettier, and that's why I haven't been turning the camera on, because I don't think this is a pretty space. So, oh, face. Oh, well, thank you. Because I'm like, I don't think this is a pretty space. Like, this is my son's futon that I moved out here from his bedroom, and I have it covered because we have dogs. So this is a black futon, but if you have dogs, you know that they get hair on everything. So I have it covered. I have all the furniture covered with blankets or comforters or whatever. So yeah, but thank you. I appreciate it. It is definitely my face that's try to Try not to wrinkle it up. I hope nobody tries to put my face on a t-shirt. So, um, but yeah. So I don't have a whole lot of friends. The friends I do have, I've had for years and years, I guess. But yeah, she her and her mother were isn't it freeing to show your face? Um, I don't know if it's freeing, but if it makes y'all happy, I'm here to make you happy, Sarah. So if it makes you happy for me to show my face, I will show my face. I am glad I brushed my hair today. I did brush my hair and brush my teeth. So, but yeah, but her and her mom, I was very close to, and so, yeah. But I love Lily. I love Lily, and I loved her mom. I loved her mom a lot, and so losing her mom was really hard. It was really hard. But she has good morning, ITT. Are you working hard? Are you working hard? So I did see on People Travis Barker hospitalized in Los Angeles, wife Courtney Kardashian by his side. Oh, what I wonder what he was hospitalized for. You're not working hard. No. Well, obviously Sarah's not working hard either. She wouldn't be on the YouTubes. Sarah has insisted that I show my face today. And I've been showing them what a nice setup the ITT department has and how I'm put over there in the corner by the window. And I don't know why Travis Barker was hospitalized. We don't know if it has anything to do with the heat, because that's what we're talking about today. So haven't read that article on People. I think we've lost MTT. MTT, are you on the patio? Paging MTT, and do the people on the patio need a refill? Y'all throw your hands up. Throw your hands up if you need a refill. I could possibly use a refill. Who's doing the refills this morning? Who's on the refill crew? She says, I'm working hard. I'm one multitasking bee. Mm-hmm. I believe that, Sarah. I believe that. That's why you're on our top list for choosing a wife. So, is anybody watching this season of Seeking Sister Wife? Is anybody watching it? Because if they are, I will catch up and we can discuss. Is anybody watching it? Does anybody have any desire to watch it? I started watching it the day that I was sick with the allergies. But then the ITT department told me I was being judgmental. Which, why do you watch the show unless you're being judgmental? I was being very judgmental. And I may have said that some of my views I would not be able to share on the YouTube. I got a start. Felt very passionate about one of the couples. I haven't watched them yet. I heard the first episode sucked, but I do like the show. Okay, so I only made it halfway through the first episode because I had taken some medicine. So I think we're like 4 weeks in now because it started the first week in June. So maybe we can try to get caught up on Seeking Sister Wife, and we can do a nighttime stream open panel discussion about Seeking Sister Wife. What does everybody think about that? Does that sound like something any of us would be interested in doing? Anyone? Anyone? If you're watching the replay, please feel free to leave your comments down below. We are always interested in hearing everyone's comments, and I do try to respond to everyone's comments, even the trolls. I respond to you because, hey, a comment's a comment. Maybe I'll just start at episode 2. Why not? Why not? I mean, I thought since y'all are tired of hearing me harp about reading a book, maybe we'll try to go for a TV show. And someone messaged me and asked me what TV show I was watching, if I would be interested in collaborating with them. I was like, I'm not really watching any TV shows. I was like, I'm watching like documentaries and random things on UFOs, and I blame the ITT department. Um, I come to bed the other night and he's watching something called Bigfoot, Aliens, and Jesus. Bigfoot, aliens, maybe it was Bigfoot, UFOs, and Jesus. Really? But usually it's not that far off. I, I didn't even know what to. This hair sticking up right here. Anybody else have like the baby hair that just won't go away? Like it just stays baby hair. It never grows. It just stays baby hair forever. Stays baby hair forever. My baby hair is like down to here, just like on this side. That is a great band name. Baby Hair Forever or Bigfoot, UFOs, and Jesus. Which one, Sarah? You think we should start a band? If we do start a band, Clint Brady, could you please be the lead singer? Yes, I have a lot of baby hairs. They're horrible too, and I don't like using hairspray if I'm not going somewhere, I don't put hairspray on them. I just let them be free. But then I walk by the mirror sometimes and I get scared for the ITT department. I get scared for what he sees. Bigfoot, UFOs, and Jesus. Yes, yes. So, I mean, if y'all want to see Bigfoot, UFOs, and Jesus, they'll be playing this weekend. We're going to get the band back together. I will be doing backup vocals and tambourine. Always wanted to play the tambourine in a band just because I think that's the only thing I could master. Um, I did play percussion in 5th grade band. I did. Snare drum, more specifically snare drum. I was the only girl drummer. I was. I had a solo. Not trying to brag. I'm just spinning facts. Just spinning facts, y'all. He loves you and your hair. Well, I know he loves me, but I'm sure he loves my hair more now during the pandemic. Now that I stopped going to get my hair done every 6 to 8 weeks, I'm sure he probably loves my hair more now. So, because I finally realized I was like, nobody is seeing me. Why do I keep going to get it colored? Because nobody's seeing me. So that's like my friend kept going to get her Botox during quarantine, and I was like, but nobody is seeing you. But then I was like, well, I guess you do some Zoom meetings from home for your work. But then I was like, you turn your camera off. Well, your talents are endless. They really are, Sarah. They really are. I have so many hidden talents, and I can't wait to find the rest of them. I know they're way down deep in there. Yeah. And I want to share them with the world. I do. I want to share all my talents with the world besides besides just the cooking. Yeah. I don't know what the rest of my talents are, but I want to find them and I want to share them. And I'm hoping you guys on YouTube y'all can help me. Y'all can help me find my talents. Okay, well, I'm going to have to put y'all on a break because my puppy dog is calling for me. The puppy is calling, and we know the puppy comes first. Thank you for holding. Thank you so much. That break was brought to you by Puppy Chow. I don't know. Not Puppy Chow, but they're not even puppies. Oh. So, what is everyone else doing for the rest of the day? Anything exciting? I have an appointment, and then I might try to get something done. I'm still going to try to go through these children's books, find some to donate this week. That's my goal. Have no idea what's for dinner. Does anyone have any dinner ideas for me? Always open to some suggestions. I do have to do something with some squash. My neighbor was so nice. Why am I the only one talking? I'm just going to assume the people on the patio are very busy working. I don't know, because you're the only one that loves me, Sarah. There's four in here. You, ITT, and I don't know. MTT might be busy with the puppies. I don't want to give my husband any ideas, so I don't watch the show. Well, maybe watch it when he's not around and sad. I'll tell you, my husband didn't watch the show, but when I started the channel, that's what I covered, was Seeking Sister Wife and Sister Wives, or like I like to call it, Everyone Hates Cody. And so I also covered Smothered and Extreme Sisters and all that. You can go back and see on see on the channel what all I covered. And so he didn't watch the shows, but he would hear me do the recaps. And, and so, yeah, finally he was just like, oh my goodness, this Cody dude is oh my goodness, and yeah, and then especially like the Smothered, it was a little much. It was a little much for him. And then he was just like, oh my goodness. So yeah, so even if you didn't watch those shows, just go back and listen to some of those recaps because some of them are just hilarious. And like the Smothered, I just kept recapping because I had friends that didn't even watch the shows, but just give the nasty um highlights. So they're some of them are really short, like 10, 12 minutes. But you don't want to give your husband any ideas. Well, let me tell you this. What if you could have a companion that would do the chores that you didn't want to do? I'm just kind of playing. But but yeah. So, I think I'm very intrigued. I am very intrigued about the multiple wives, about the polygamy, all the things. I've watched numerous shows, documentaries. I'm more interested in people that do it for religious reasons, but I've noticed that this season they're covering, and like I said, I've only watched half of the first episode, but it seems like they're follow if I remember correctly, they're following more people that are doing it as a lifestyle as opposed to for religious reasons. That's like they didn't keep the winders this season. They chose not to, which I mean I can understand that because the winders were lovely, but they were kind of like watching paint dry. Okay. Lovely family, very conservative, but just a little on the boring side. And let's face it, when you're watching a show called Seeking Sister Wife, you want some action, right? Because I mean, that's why you watch TV because you want to be entertained. You want to be entertained. You're not watching it. Most people are not watching it to try to find out about what religious sector is encouraging you to bring on more wives. Most people aren't watching it to learn more about the the religious aspect of it, right? They want to about the drama. So yeah, so I feel like these couples they've went more in the direction of the couples. Well, no, the Merrifields are doing it allegedly out of religious reasons, but their family has turned against them. The church, I think their church disowned them. But I like to call him, crying Garrick, and Roberta still hasn't made it to America. Now they're thinking about getting another wife. So whenever Roberta does come, Danielle will have somebody else to hang out with. I mean, I'm very interested, very interested in the whole concept. And I think I probably I have a personal um interest, I guess. Because I think it's very interesting if you can get your woman to I cannot stand that man. He is scary. Garrick, is that who you're talking about? You can't stand Garrick? Garrick Merrifield? I personally think it's very interesting if you can get your woman to agree to take on another wife and agree to live a polygamous lifestyle as opposed to you having to do it behind her back. I have been, and I will share a fun fact. I have been in a situation where my significant other, and this is not now, this was many, many years ago, but my significant other was still married, and I had no idea. And I know people, a friend for Danielle so he can bang. Yes, yes, exactly. Yes, yes, yes. But I know situations where men have numerous families or more than one family all over town. And so I think if you can get the women to agree to live together, to let them know about each other, is that better? More convenient for the man, less hurt for the women. They know what they're dealing with. Better for the kids to know about their siblings and get to grow up with their siblings in the same house as opposed to finding out about them when they get grown. Could you imagine getting to a certain age and then finding out you have a half sibling that lives right down the street from you? That your parent had been helping raise this whole time while he was also helping raise you? That when you thought your parent was going to XYZ, he was really going to his wife's house? And this happens more than you would realize. And I don't even know if and I think people who come from traditional or quote unquote normal households don't even realize that this occurs. And I'm thinking of a book that I read that this happened in, and for the life of me, I can't think of the name of the book. But I have experienced this in real life. Um, I'm not the one that had the siblings, but and it just didn't happen to me. I've actually known a couple of different situations where to find out the man had several families or more than one family all over town. Some of them in a couple of different states because they traveled for work. So it happens more than we would like to think. And so I guess that's my personal interest in polygamy because it just kind of got me to thinking like if this person would have came to me and been like, "Hey, instead of doing this behind your back, why don't we just all, do this together?" Would I have been okay with that? I don't know how I would have took that, but that would have been some honesty. So, I guess I'm just thinking like, well, at least these gentlemen were honest with their mates as to what they were looking for. You know, I'm looking for more than one wife. Um, but yeah, I mean, the ma some of them are doing it for religious reasons. Some of them are doing it for lifestyle reasons, and this is why I trust no one. Yeah, yeah, and it does make it definitely affected my trust level. Definitely. Doing some replanting of indoor plants that I enjoy so much. Me too. Me too. I have really, really been enjoying playing in the dirt this year, and I enjoy the plants and the pots more, just because it's easier for me to do than planting in the ground with my back issues. It's really hard for me to get down on the ground. So everyone had to hear about my story about I did some hoeing outside in the flower bed. I did 15 minutes of hoeing and I was down for 2 days. So, yeah, hoeing used to be so much easier in my 20s. But anyway, so yeah, so if any of you want to get caught up on Seeking Sister Wife, or if any of you are, please let me know. I'm going to try to get caught up, and let's schedule something. We can have an open panel and discuss Seeking Sister Wife and discuss polygamy. I think that would be a great nighttime stream, open panel opportunity, because even if you don't watch the show, I think everyone probably has an opinion on polygamy, right? I mean, everyone has an opinion on it. It might not be for you, but I mean, how do you feel about, other people doing it? How would you feel living next door to a polygamous family? Right? So, yeah, maybe that's something we can plan on doing. I think that would be cool. And I think that would definitely be a good nighttime topic that a lot of people would be interested in. So I'm excited about that. I just want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Oh, also, is anyone watching the court case that I've been talking about, the Missouri versus Rebecca Rudd? Has anyone been keeping up with that? Y'all, that is some serious stuff. Yesterday, the adoptive mother testified. Oh my goodness. Heart wrenching. Heart wrenching. Also, yesterday on Court TV, do you remember the Crumbly family? That is that's going to be the Oxford, the Michigan school shooter. Remember, his parents are being charged with him shooting the school, which normally doesn't happen. I don't think we've ever seen this before, where the parents have been charged when a child has, yeah, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I seen a lot of people in the chat saying they couldn't handle it. It's a lot. I just kind of dip in and out, but I did watch her testimony. I did watch some of the sheriff testimony. I don't, when the forensic parts come up about the burning of the body and stuff, I don't want to listen to that. But I did watch the adoptive mother's testimony about how they came to acquire her from the biological mother, and how all that went down, and how she got diagnosed and all that stuff. But yeah, so these Crumbly parents, they was a preliminary hearing yesterday about what was going to be allowed into their trial and not. And so they did like a household, they analyzed the household and all the evidence and stuff. When I tell you that, so it was the uh, the young man's journal, text messages, some things like that that were discussed. I by no means am trying to like take up for what this young man did, and my heart goes out to the families um at Oxford that were killed. He obviously was suffering from mental illness and had asked both his parents to take him to the doctor to get help. It was so sad. He was texting his friend, telling his friend that he had asked his parents to take him to the doctor, that he was hearing voices, that he was seeing things. He was writing in his journal about it. Um, he was writing in his journal about what he was going to do. But, he had asked both his parents to take him to get help. His mom laughed at him. His dad gave him some medicine and told him to suck it up. And I just couldn't imagine, um, because, teenagers don't really talk to you, period. They don't talk to you. Um, my friend was telling me about she went over to somebody's house and they had teenagers, and she was like, "They didn't speak to me." And I was like, "Yeah, teenagers don't talk to you." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "They don't talk. They don't talk to their parents. They surely don't talk to strangers." That just doesn't happen. But I couldn't imagine how hard it was. Yes, they got him the gun. I just couldn't imagine my child telling me they needed mental health services and getting him a gun. Like, "Hey, I'm hearing voices. I need some help," and, like, "Here's a gun." Like, they were just so disconnected, and they were talking about how the parents were having issues with each other and, drug problems and, how that whether or not that was gonna be allowed into the trial. I don't care what kind of issues you're having in your relationship, what kind of drug problems you got going on, your kid comes first, right? Your kid's health comes first. If your kid comes to you and tells you they need to go to the doctor, they're hearing voices, they're seeing things, the school calls you and asks you to take them to the doctor, I'm just like, "Oh my goodness." Because at first I was just like, "Wow." I'm like, out of all of these school shootings, and they are charging the parents, and I'm like, "Well, they must be charging the parents because the parents bought the gun and didn't keep it locked up," but now as they keep showing more and more stuff, I'm like, "These parents really were responsible for this." Because they knew the child had these problems, the child asked for help, and I mean, let's face it, whether I don't care if they charge this child as an adult, he is still a child. He is a child. I don't he committed a heinous, heinous crime against other children. He's still a child. He is still a child, and he will probably spend the rest of his life in jail because he suffers from a mental health condition that he was asking his parents to help him get help for. Because as a 15-year-old, you can't go get mental health services without your parents. So, from what I've gathered so far, his parents didn't have insurance on him. His mother had a job. His dad was doing DoorDash. When the school called, his parents Didn't take him. The school was suggesting they take him. They didn't take him. I understand insurance is an issue. There's always somewhere you can go for help. Always. And if you are listening to this and you feel like you need help and you don't know where to go, please, if you have a child that needs help and you don't know where to go to get that child help, please reach out to someone. If you don't have someone to reach out to, please feel free to reach out to me. All my information is on the about. There are 1-800 numbers you can call. There are services in your area. But there's somewhere that we can find in your area that you can take your child, even if you don't have insurance. But they didn't even try. That's what gets me is like I understand like trying to get your child services because even with insurance, it's really hard. It is. It's really hard. There are not enough providers for children. But I mean, what if they could have, just taken him to someone to talk to that day that the school called, and maybe set up something for the future, but just somebody to talk to that day besides the school guidance counselor. But I just that young child that um that boy was so brave enough to ask, first of all, to reach out to his friend, to text his friend and to say that he was going to ask his parents. And then he asked his parents, and his mom laughed at him. His dad gave him some pills and told him to suck it up. And then the school calls his parents, and his parents refuse to take him home. It's just astounding to me. It's astounding to me because we want our kids to talk to us as parents. And, most of us beg and beg and beg for our kids to talk to us. And he talked to his parents and they did not listen to him. They didn't listen to him. And now the whole community is suffering. The whole community is suffering. Innocent children lost their lives. He is going to be locked up. His parents are going to be locked up. But, why would these parents get him a gun knowing that he was suffering? That he was suffering. And I the only thing I can think of is like that was the only way they knew to bond with him because I guess they were like into horses. And so maybe that was just the only way. Yes, yes. Maybe that's the only way they knew to try to bond with him or, some kind of connection. I don't know. I don't know. I can't figure it out. But if you are worried about your child or if your child is asking you for help or you think your child needs someone to go talk to, please, there are services out there and they may be hard to find, but they are out there. Every school has a guidance counselor, and that's always a good place to start. And I know not every school has a helpful guidance counselor, um, but there are always resources in your community. And if you need help locating those resources and you don't have someone to help you, you can always feel free to reach out to me. Will not share your business or information. Um, because I'll just be honest with you, I've been there. I have kids and I don't ever want another child to go through what this young gentleman went through. I just couldn't imagine his hurt and pain to have his mother laugh at him and his dad give him pills and tell him to suck it up, and how much pain he must have been in to think that, I mean, he thought he was going crazy, and he, probably suffers from, I mean, I'm not trying to YouTube diagnose somebody, but, obviously if you're hearing voices and you're seeing things, you're suffering from something. That's not not a normal thing for a teenage boy to be going through, unless they're on drugs or something, which he wasn't. That hasn't been disclosed that he was doing drugs. So I'm assuming it sounds like schizophrenia or hallucinations are not normal. So yeah, mental health is so important. It's so important for our children and for ourselves. And but that was on court TV last night about the Crumbly household being analyzed. And yeah, exactly, Sarah. Schizophrenia, likely. And his parents should have known, I don't know if they just guess they were just in their own little world. In their own little world. I guess they were concerned about these horses they had and marriage problems. And I guess they were doing drugs but kids come first. So I don't know. I hope maybe you heard something today that resonated with you or made your day better in some way. I hope everyone has a great day. Remember, you are worth great things. You are here to make a difference in the world. Remember, do something nice for yourself and do something nice for someone else. I will see y'all next time. Until then, later.